Thank you so much. It's fantastic to be here. Kelechi, the leader of the Justice League. Yes, I said I'll say it here. Please take it to your full chest. Accept it to your full chest. Yes, thank you so much for putting this together. God bless you. And the team, Eddie Diong, everybody that worked on this, thank you all so much, right? This is the beginning of so much more to come. And of course, I must acknowledge my Oga, Joba. We were in law school together and we're members of the House of Lords, if you know what that means. If you know, you know, you know. And yes, my sister-in-law, she was here. Where is she? No, sister-in-law. Yeah. Yes, that's her. Hello. Yeah, she's the CEO, founder, LegalTech, and the managing partner, the Legal Concierge. Yes. And it's so good to have everybody here. You know, thank you so much for being here. And my distinguished panel, thank you all for being here, for making out the time today to be here. On behalf of Tech Lawyer Conference, I say thank you. Today, we're going to be talking about building investable startups, legal tech startups, right? I think it would be good for us to break down what each of the words there mean, especially the high-sounding words. Investable means, right, this kind of business is something that is worth investing in, meaning it's most likely scalable, it's solving a big problem, and it's something that, you know, investors will probably want to back, right? Of course, we all know what legal tech is. Legal tech is using technologies to solve, you know, legal problems, whether it's for on the side of the lawyers or, you know, the general public or both or whatever it is, a combination of all of that. Now, from that background, like I said earlier, the topic is building investable legal tech startups. I mean, we all know this distinguished panel, who everybody is. I'm sure he'll be with us shortly. First things first is we'll need to define or understand what it is to find legal problems to solve, right? I think that's the place where we need to start from. What everyday legal issues can be made easier with technology? What everyday legal issues can be made easier with technology? So please, I mean, anybody can take that. Go ahead, Chioma.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me? Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here and to speak in this panel. So thank you so much for the invitation. The question is, what everyday legal problems should
can be made easier with technology?
Can be made easier with technology. That's very. Okay. One, reviewing a document. Two, signing a document. 3, stamping a document. 4, verifying a document. All of those things could be made easier with technology. Let's use, for instance, whereby you're trying to, you're going to the land registry, you're trying to confirm the validity of the land. We all see how tedious the process could be. That's, Nigeria has a very bad problem when it comes to accurately storing data. I believe that with the use of technology, that could be easily aided. Earlier, Joba spoke about cloud technology, blockchain. Imagine blockchain system working in the land registry. It makes our job so much more easier. Same thing down with wills. Same thing down with signing, stamping, and reviewing documents, whereby you sit with your partner or with a third party, have the conversation online without even going anywhere, thereby putting in place ease, putting in place convenience, and whereby document has been approved by all parties, is signed on the platforms. But but if we're looking at if we're looking at creating solutions such as this, we also have to ask ourselves, what are the statutory requirements, or what is the regulatory landscape around solutions such as this? Have we gotten to the point whereby we are allowed to adopt such technology solutions? Have we gotten to the point whereby if these solutions are going to be created, they wouldn't be pushed back by our community? So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chioma. Thank you very much. I mean, who else wants to contribute to that? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you, Casey, for putting this together. And your sister-in-law, I actually call her my chair because she's my chair in the NBA Digital Committee, in which I am a member. So my chair, hello. Yeah, great. So straight to the answer, what legal problems can be solved with technology? I'm just going to use a lot of my personal experience, right, in answering a lot of the questions that we're going to discuss here today. So one of the earliest problems I realized as a young lawyer was that a lot of people did not know the law. Back then, this was like over like 10 years ago. A lot of people did not know the law. There was little or no information online that could educate people on the law. So what I did was I asked myself, okay, how can I help people understand the law better and allow them find legal solutions better? And I did one of the simplest things, which was I started a blog. Now, a blog is just using technology, right, the internet, to just share legal information. And that's what I did. And that was how I started trying to solve legal problems. So that's the first one that I saw, and that's the first one that I tried to solve. So using that as an example, right, every legal problem anybody passes through can be solved with technology, or technology can be used to help them access solutions to that problem. Um, for instance, if you try to find a lawyer now, you can do that online. There are a couple of startups here who are trying to solve that problem, connecting people with legal services. If you're trying to get a document, right, if you're trying to draft an agreement as a small business, a lot of people, like he said, it's quite expensive sometimes to get a law firm to do that for you, but there are legal solutions that help you do that for a fraction of the cost and a lot faster. So every legal challenge you find right now, there is a technology solution that can help you achieve it. So if you look around you, you can always find something that you can do. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Nice to be here. Thank you, Kelechi, for organizing this. Just to buttress what you said, how many people know what Bloomberg is? Bloomberg terminal and stuff like that. Yeah. So, information and data on the very basic level. From what you said around, folks don't even know the law, or just discovery of related cases, discovery of data, is actually a big problem, right? And it's from just that standpoint, it's an enterprise solution. One, Bloomberg currently charges tens of thousands of dollars per terminal for you to have access to it, right? The problem with Nigeria is that we still run a very paper-based this thing. You have to subscribe to law journals. The course I studied in uni, I think we had to do something as regards media law, and we had to read a lot of cases and stuff like that. So the problem I see with a lot of firms or with a lot of people is that we are reaching a case where we are reaching the point where there's AI, there's machine learning, there's all of those kind of stuff. What is stopping you from having a case, for example, like you have like a case before you, and there is a product that you can see judicial precedents that has gone before it, you can see case laws, you can see related cases. That's actually going to be a big product. For law firms, it's going to be a big product. For international folks that want to understand, the Nigerian jurisprudence landscape or judicial landscape and stuff like that. So from an information and data perspective, I'm still looking out for who is actually going to build in that, leverage on ML, AI to see like what are the related cases in land law, what are the related cases in defamation, libel, and all of those kind of stuff. It's actually good. It's a good problem to solve. I'm looking forward to someone solving that. I love what she said around blockchain, using it in land registry and stuff like that. So and we live in a world, or no, not in a world. We live in it's a world but we live in Nigeria where I would say that we don't face pockets of injustice. Like we're now in a place where injustice or the lack of access to justice actually is now is like part of us, so that people don't, from a fundamental level, they don't know, they are not aware of what they are writer, they are not aware of this, they don't even know how to go about it. So we just need to think about what are these levers to access, and you can actually find a problem to solve every single step of the way, from awareness to actually who to talk to how to go about it. There is a technology for everything, and I hope that in this panel we get to go through everything. But I just thought to set the tone with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Piggybacking off of that, the next question is, because usually, as a lawyer, when you engage a client, there are two questions they ask you. The first one is, how much and how long is it going to take? Those are the first two questions that they would ask you. So you know that cost of legal services is a big issue, and I think is literally one of the foremost. How can technology make legal services, I don't want to use the word cheaper, because cheap is cheap, right? Let's use the word affordable. Affordable and more accessible, right? So how can technology do that, make legal services more affordable and more accessible?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I think economies of scale would really help. So think of maybe lawyers that do CC registrations. In a month, maybe you get 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to charge well to make it worth your while. Yeah. But if you think of a way to attract 1,000, right? At 1,000, you don't need to charge a lot for each individual ones. It's cheaper if you can just, it's cheaper if you have a lot of them to do. You can even hire maybe interns to do it for you. But really, economies of scale, if you're able to attract it in masses, you don't need to charge a lot for just the few ones you get. So you need to make sure you're in a position to attract a lot more, like to attract the masses, really. Yeah.
I mean, just in addition to what you said, right? And the beautiful thing with technology is a lot of the processes that would have been manual are already automated, right? So that even makes it faster. So in as much as you are doing 1,000, just like you said, you're not particularly fully interacting with these people all through the entire process. A lot of it is automated. Information collection is automated. Giving feedback on the milestones too is probably automated. So yes, I think that's another way that technology also helps with attending to that economies of scale. Who else wants to say any other thing?
Yeah, so I expected him to answer it because he's building something very fantastic in that space. But when we think about what technology can actually do in terms of when people say, oh, the cost and how long it will take. I mean, that's the reason why if you're just having a bant with someone on Twitter, they'll just say, I'll take legal steps. And nobody really takes any legal step, right? It's like, when we think about it, I see the legal industry, just like from an investment standpoint, as similar to the medical or healthcare industry. It's something that everybody needs, but the supply is limited. So like, what are the interventions? Just looking at what the medical industry is doing, what are the interventions that are going on? You find out that there are stuff like telemedicine. They are doing like a lot of stuff around, just increasing the efficiency so that, because currently we have like 1 to population size is very abysmal. All the doctors are jackpot. Like very soon, I imagine that's the same with the lawyers, because you find out that they just do their first year in Analuko, everybody, and then the next thing you see, this guy is already in one of the law firms in the UK.
He's already wearing winter jackets.
Exactly.
The next picture he posts. Yes, that's what happens.
Yeah. So like, how do we think about when we say things around cost? I think what is said is very important. Economics of scale. The another thing I would like to just point out is the fact that when we still need like a lot of things in terms of time. One of the things I wanted to mention earlier was that things around even court scheduling, we have not solved it. Someone just comes and just schedule your case to 2030. Like, how? Like, what? Like, there are better operational management tools that we can do in that regard that would actually make it worthwhile. But in terms of cost, I don't think that it's going to get ridiculously cheap, because even with the medical space, telemedicine and all of those kind of things, the biggest barrier is still the cost, because purchasing power is a real thing. purchasing power, you cannot solve for purchasing power, but you can solve for, okay, the people that, the non-consumption, the people that can actually afford it, is there the ease, is there the convenience of accessing it? The reason why we use Nobase or SideBrief or any of those platforms to actually go through my sales is because I don't have to, the first point of contact is not that I'm stepping out of my place to go and hunt from one shop to the other and all of those kind of stuff. So I think what we can do is just just think in terms of ease also, because there are people that will actually pay. They will get to a time where that legal step, you need to actually take it. But now, who do you go and meet? That's the next question. Like, once you know the money, you have to do it. Like, when you're sick, like medical industry, the thing is that there are no doctors, yes, but when you're sick, you really need to see the doctor. You need to buy drugs, you need to do it. So where then do you do it? Are there people that are building things that are for the digital natives, the people that know and stuff like that? The only few law firms I know, the other ones I know are very, in my head, there are two classes of law firms. The very traditional ones that are for the shells and the everything, and then there are the, okay, I see the Nobase, the SideBrave and the everything, but what is the one in the middle that is actually catering for, actually people that have law challenges, just from a personal standpoint and from a business standpoint? I know these law firms because I play in this space, but in terms of like mainstream adoption or just creating that level of access, I think we can still do a lot to that, because there will always be a market to pay for that. Like you would have seen with his business, but we just need to think more around it, and I'm happy that there are platforms like this where we can do knowledge sharing and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so I wear two hats, right? I have a firm, and I have people that work with me in that firm, and I also have a startup. So I understand from both angles. Now, from our law firm, we are a business. We have salaries to pay. We have rent to pay. We have computers to buy. We have things that we do daily that take a lot of our funds, right? So when someone comes to ask for our service, you have to pay, because we too are paying. That's on the one hand. And I'm just trying to be as sincere as possible. You have to pay. Now, on the second hand, right, I also understand the need for innovation. I also understand the need to have SME fit products that someone who is not a shell or a big co can actually pay for. So from my experience, right, I introduced a product at a time when I was really, at the beginning, I was afraid to promote it, and I'll tell you why. If you go and meet a lawyer to draft an agreement for you, if you come to me in my law firm hat and tell me to draft an agreement for you, I'm going to give you a bill, right? And I expect you to pay it. But at the same time, I introduced a tool where you could get your agreements in 5 minutes. I automated it. All you have to go is go to our site, fill in a questionnaire, and you get the agreement in your email. And I was charging very, very small fee, a very, very small fee. For instance, there's some agreements that you find that are like 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 6,000 naira, 8,000 naira, thereabout. But this is an agreement that if you had come to me on my law firm hat, I'll probably charge you hundreds of thousands for the same agreement. So I was afraid to market it because I felt my fellow colleagues would be like, dude, are you trying to spoil business for us? And but what I'm trying to say is that there has to be a middle ground. Lawyers are providing solutions for SMEs. For instance, during the keynote, right, he said that he knows a lot of firms who are providing products for SMEs that are quite affordable. And these are big law firms, right? So they're not small firms, and that's why they're charging cheap. No, because they understand that there's a market that they need to provide for. So in the long run, at the end of the day, we will see more solutions like this come out. We will see more people come out with solutions that make business easy for the small business owner. So getting a lawyer now is no longer as expensive as it used to be, right? You can even talk to a lawyer and they can even partner with you. They can collaborate with you, just like we heard during the keynote, right? They can partner with you, they can collaborate with you, and they can offer you huge discounts if they believe in what you're doing. So technology is making legal easier, is making legal cheaper, and I'll advise any small business out there to go out there and look for tools that fit their purpose. Thank you.
Sorry. Um,
Please
so,
go ahead.
So, Buttress's point, I think for legal startups, if you bid for businesses and give to consumers, there's a difference between how much an individual can pay and how much a business can pay. So, in building a comprehensive solution for businesses, those are the bills that keep your lights running. But you can have a watered down version for individuals. It's more cheaper and they can pay for it. But if you stick to just that, you go out of business. So if you bid for businesses, you're able to give to consumers. It's a lot easier.
He's giving you guys gems now.
Oh, okay. So I think everything that developer analyst has said, awesome. But they are speaking on the part of businesses. What about individuals themselves? We need to understand that there is a poverty problem in Nigeria. There is a huge digital divide in Nigeria. And so how is the everyday Nigerian able to access legal services when they cannot afford it? So I keep commending Made. I really like what he's doing, being able to download legal agreements at really affordable rates. So it means that the everyday Nigerian, if they're having issues with their landlords or if they're trying to sign like a simple agreement, they have a solution there. But we also need to recognize that these people as well, when it's time to get legal advice, it's quite difficult for them. So I'll suggest that being able to provide certain services for free or offering them a freemium model whereby they can access basic legal advice for free and then more standardized or more upgraded services at a paid rate, thereby closing the justice gap, even if it's just a little bit.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just to
It's getting interesting.
just to piggyback on what she was saying, when you were talking and he was talking, I just thought to myself, wow, we've been talking about businesses, and one thing just popped to my mind: civil dispute. What happens, because justice beyond courtroom is things like ancestral land, Kolai Wasabi, all this kind of stuff. But like more seriously, it's like the benefit of just being in the investment space and seeing between industries that I can draw parallels. What she said about how can we just make this thing retail for people that actually have problem. If you look at agriculture, agri-tech, for example, they have like a big supply chain problem. Like food cannot go from where there is excess supply to where there is this thing. So what do? The folks that actually have the excess supply are, quote and unquote, they have the same barriers to access. Let's say, okay, low literacy level and all of those kind of stuff. They cannot operate technology to list their goods on a platform. So what the agri-tech industry did was to create an intermediary, like that's off-taker, not off-takers, agents. So I do think that in terms of creating like retail legal solutions to problems that are affecting people very critically, like land issues, just things that have to do with women, people with this thing. I think if the legal tech industry or the legal tech solutions, like ideal legal tech solutions that are going to have impact, are going to create like a class of workers. I don't know what that's going to be called. Maybe legal, just legal agents. They are not going to be lawyers.
Yes.
But they are going to help. They are
Like
the ones that
paralegals, but yeah.
and yeah, exactly. And you see, this is the reason why the pharmacy business has been very, very important. It's like I was at the pharmacy this morning and I just told her, please, can you check my skin? I think there's something happening here. And then she looked at it and she's like, okay, this is what you should do, and that. So it was that first point of contact. So if you actually want to get to the last mile, they cannot come to you because 200 million people cannot come to just 40 or 50,000 of you. You have to create another class of, that's like market creating innovation. So I think that we can just take parallels from industries like agri-tech, take parallels from industries like they've created things like pharmacy. Pharmacy is like the first door. Like once you pass my level, you go to an hospital or something. So the actual legal tech solution that fit our context will take those things into account. Like who are those people that they can reach out to before escalating and stuff.
He has given somebody in the room a legal tech business idea, free of charge, FOC. Like that right there is a fantastic model because, funny enough, before you mentioned it, honestly, I never thought about it. There needs to be somebody or a group of people bridging that gap, right? Who are between the lawyers and also between, the populace. I think that's a fantastic business idea. Yeah. So somebody really needs to take that and run with it. I see so many ideas coming out of here after this. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay, so just to add to a little bit to what Mr. Ayabami just said, so that's one of the things that, I think it might just be my voice. Okay, so that's one of the things we are trying to achieve with this campaign, the Access to Justice Awareness campaign. So as part of the campaign, we were able to partner with NULAI, that's the Nigerian Legal Aid, Nigerian University Legal Aid institution thereabout, and granting us access to 52 legal clinics and as well as a list of paralegals. So our goal is that, we want to be able to bridge that gap between, by activating the legal clinics, so that even whereby you do not have a mobile or internet-enabled phone, you go to a legal clinic and you'll be able to you'll be able to get pro bono legal advice or free legal services with the support of the paralegals.
Fantastic.
I believe that young people, they're at the forefront of technology, they're at the forefront of change, they're at the forefront of everything positive and everything powerful. So you need to activate them as quickly as possible, and that's one of the things we hope to achieve during the campaign. Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. I like that. I'm enjoying the discourse because honestly, you guys are opening a prism that I never saw, and I hope everybody everybody's heads are opening because man, and I've been in this space and I did not see all these things. Please go on.
So something that just came to mind, I think Joba mentioned it, is like you can be a good lawyer, but you're bad, you just... business, the thing with, when I discussed, or when I even met Kelechi, and then she saw just so much about she made me know about the access to stuff, access to justice, the SDG actually for itself. When you are building, the topic of this panel is investable businesses and stuff like that. Like, you are doing great stuff for humanity, like, fine, all well and good. Impact, like, really great, but how do you make money? Yeah. And Joba mentioned somebody I look up to a lot, Benga Oyebode. And when I read, like, how he actually does his deals or when he does his law stuff, is like, there's a percentage it takes from the stuff. So if you're doing pro bono and all of those kind of stuff, if that actually happens, like there's an intermediary already, and I read like some case studies where these people will file cases for you, but like there's a no win, no fee basis. So you have to think of those upsides, because if you're coming to me and say, I'm reaching 100,000 people, that's good number, right? Maybe if I just want to throw like just some grant money at you just to show that, I'm doing some great things in the society, that's fine. But if you actually want to build an investable business, you actually have to think from the basis of, how does this reflect on the unit economics? Like, what does it look like to my bottom line? So if you build out that, and then there are different revenue scenarios. You can do a no win, no fee basis. You can do a you pay you pay some money to the legal aid, and you just have a revenue share or something. But the emphasis of it is that I think legal tech startups are often drawn between two extremes. It's like, be a traditional law firm or just be an impact, just be like impact and social impact. And you would see that that's the reason why the legal tech industry, and I was just very inspired by what Kelechi did, because she just made me very curious about this. It's like, legal tech has historically, like all over the world, raised like less amount of money than compared to every other sector.
Yeah.
And it is like the sector that when people, if you don't have access to justice, if you don't have good health, you feel bad. Like if you've been wronged, there's no access to justice. You're living under like conditions where you face like civil brutality from your spouse and all of this kind of stuff. It's things that actually fundamentally hinder your quality of life. But then that part of things, people don't invest because people have not been able to think beyond just doing good. I mean, doing good can be good business. That's the point I'm trying to make. That we need to think about revenue models that actually helps you to capture value as much as you're dispensing access to justice. So there are many ways that we can think about it. But I think in the workshops and stuff, it's just like ways that we can just set context and we can think better around how to make sure we are doing good and we still have like a good business running.
Yes, I mean, thank you so much, Ayobami, for that. Which is why I like the balance in the room, because we are talking about building investable legal tech startups. And just like he said, okay, my own personal experience. There are times when you are applying to stuff and they're saying, oh, startups. And then you see fintech, prop tech, all the tech, and you don't see legal tech. And then you go to others. You go and tick others. Then there will not be a line there. You now write legal tech. The thing always kills me. Like, if I fill 10 forms, I promise you it is 9 out of 10. I promise you it is 9 out of 10. Right? But let me say this. I'm signed to TechCrunch, their newsletter. And I got this mail yesterday in my mail. And you guys, I don't know if you know Clio. Clio is a legal tech, is a global legal tech. And they recently raised $900 million at a $3 billion valuation. Let me say that again. Clio recently raised $900 million. Jesus, God win. At a $3 billion valuation. Then another AI startup, LegalTech 2, is backed by OpenAI, called Harvey, raised $100 million. I think at a reduced valuation of 1.5 billion. But I mean, these are automatically unicorns, right? So I mean, 100 million, and this one raised $900 million. Oh my God! But what am I saying? Attention is now coming that way, right? And this is 2 legal techs in like the space of 1 month, which is great, right? But I think we need to now start to do more so that this starts to even trickle down here. We don't need to be hiding in the shadows anymore, right? For me, I will keep applying. If they like, they should put legal tech. If they like, they should not put legal tech. That's their problem. I will fill it in, right? And I think that's a way for us to constantly push the envelope. Let's just keep showing up, right? And then whenever I usually enter those rooms, right, I'm always the green horn. Like, oh, okay, okay. Then of course when they see the name, okay, lawyers, legal tech. But you see fintech, there are 2 million there. You see health tech, there are 3 million there. You see ed tech, another story. Prop tech now is gaining ground. So I think we need to now start to push these things so that people know that, hey, we're not a push aside, right? We're not, by the way. While we're having this conversation, a distinguished member of the panel walked in, Mr. Samuel Oji. He's the scale-up. He's the scale-up advisor at Hill Justice Accelerator. I will just take his citation very quickly so that at least we know, the big dog in the room. Yes, so Mr. Samuel Oji is the scale-up advisor at the Hague Institute for Innovation of Law, HIL, where he supports social ventures, leveraging technology to advance global access to justice, with extensive experience in impacting investing, program management, and startup acceleration. Mr. Samuel has a strong background in law and finance. I'll say something about that. He has played key roles in renowned organizations like UNO Social Business and Mercy Corp Ventures. Mr. Samuel is passionate about fostering innovation and social entrepreneurship in emerging markets, particularly in Africa. You're very welcome, Mr. Samuel Oji. It's a pleasure to have you here. I know that Lagos happened, but it's fine. We are happy. Yes, we're glad to have you here. We are glad to have you here, and we know that definitely you would contribute, very generously to this conversation, right? And one thing that struck me about your profile, law and finance, piggybacking of what our keynote speaker said about lawyers having just linear skills, right? And I see that all the time. I remember when I was trying to get lawyers on board, right? And all the CVs I saw, the only experience lawyers had was law. Ah, man, it was, I think it's a problem. It's really a problem because we get to see, everything we see is in prisms. We don't get to see things, from different angles, which I think it's fantastic to see people like you with, should I say dual entity? Yeah, so thank you. And I'll just jump right into the question that was asked just now. And let's just get your, what you have to say about it. How can technology make legal services, more affordable and more accessible? How can technology make, legal services more affordable and more accessible?
I mean, like everything else, technology has the potential to, to scale it and take it to more people, and to be able to reach different markets that they hadn't previously reached, and maybe potentially make it cheaper. But I think you also need to look at it in the context of our market. It's not just about having some type of fancy technology. It's also the root of what you're offering. The challenge that we have with Nigeria, and that's also reflected in things like even the incomes of lawyers, is that the justice system itself, there's an issue with the justice system. People, oftentimes when people have a problem, courts are not the first place that people want to go to resolve their issue. Because it takes a lot of time and all of that. So if there's no underlying value there, if people already realize that if I have a dispute, this is not the way to go, or people there isn't that trust in the legal system. No matter the amount of technology you introduce to it, the improvements in experience for people will only be marginal. So one of the things you mentioned there is the fintech industry. Why everybody is a fintech. The reason why fintech works is that the two sectors upon which it relies upon are the only two functional sectors in Nigeria, which is what? Telecommunications and banking. And if you check it on the stock market or anywhere, you see that those two sectors are the only consistently performing sectors. When you look at profit of companies, because why? Government regulation there is clear. People understand what, the regulator is active with CBN. People know, okay, this is how you act. This is how, there's clear rules. Same thing as well with telecommunication. It's been one of the most consistent contributor to Nigeria's GDP. So because that underlying structure is there, it's now easy to be able to build on top of it and then take different services to people. The challenge with, yes, and we've seen in other markets where the system works, and particularly in this case would be United States. So, I'm sure those companies you've called with billions of dollars worth of valuation in LegalTech are all US-based companies. It's because the people have a certain assurance in the US that, the system works. If you do this to me, I'll take you to court, and in the next, 1 month or two, I'm going to get a decision. People are very litigious. So on top of that, an industry has built. In fact, there are people whose entire business is to finance litigation. That's what they do. So they are like an investment bank. You go and meet them like, oh, someone has done something to pollute this environment. I don't have money to take them to court, but finance it. And these are entire businesses, and they run. So it's because the underlying value has been created. If you then throw technology on top of it, it's able to scale it up, and people are able to receive it at a much higher level. Here, there is room. Obviously, technology will create improvements for people, but sadly, those improvements would only be marginal unless the underlying issues in our markets are addressed.
Very, very interesting perspective. Honestly, very interesting perspective. And it just goes to show that there's a lot of work to be done. There's just a lot of work to be done. And we are the ones to do the work, right? Yes. So thank you so much, sir, for that. Thank you so much. So the next thing now we're going to talk about real life examples, right? I don't want us to go away without talking about real life examples of legal techs, products that are working. And it's so good to see that, three LegalTech founders here. So I would like for them to talk about, the solution it is that they are building and tips for building legal techs that tackle real problems in the legal system. I think he gave a tip already, but we are going to extract some more gems from him. So yes, Chama, please, CEO founder Legume. I hope I pronounced this right. Okay, please. So basically, you are supposed to just talk to us about, your experience with building your product and give us tips on, building a product that tackles real problems. And basically, the lessons basically that you've learned along your way.
Oh, okay. First of all, I wouldn't lie and say it's been easy. I've built and turned down legumes 7 times.
7 times?
Yeah. Because at every point in time, I felt there was something wrong. It wasn't actually solving the problem.
Wow.
It's motivation is good, passion is good, but passion is not good enough. It's not enough. You need more than that. You need facts to back it up. So you also need knowledge to back up what you're doing. So with every time whereby I failed, I learned, and I took back that knowledge and went back to the drawing board. So the one, what I've learned, or my most recent lesson, is about customer discovery. You can't be building something just because you think it's a good idea. It should actually solve a problem. Is the market ready for what you're building? Are they looking for it? So you need to ask, like Jova said before he left, you need to go into the market, ask questions, empathize with your user, and know that, okay, this is a solution that they are looking for because there's actually a demand there. So with what we are building with Legume is good, but it's not good enough. It means that there's an opportunity for us to get better. So at Legume, we have a mobile app which allows you to ask a lawyer, book an appointment, consult with your lawyer, then use our AI for document analysis. But interestingly, 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine asked me, Choma, do you think you're actually solving a problem? How many people are looking for lawyers these days? If I have a legal problem, do you think I would want to use your app? Because in as much as we're providing ease, convenience, affordability, all of those nice fancy words, will they actually use your products? That's the question. So he told me, he was like, okay, I should consider what are the everyday justice problems that people face. How often do people need a lawyer? Yes, right now what we built was to provide legal services or access to lawyers. But how many people need lawyers? How many people can afford lawyers? I had to ask myself that question. So it needs, and when I got my answer, I went back to the drawing board, and now I'm rebuilding, not rebuilding, I'm building on top of the credits. So that's one. Then secondly, from that question he asked me, he pushed me to the point of, going further into customer discovery. So that's the reason why we launched the Access to Justice Awareness Campaign. And pardon that I'm talking about it here, right? But I believe it's important to speak on it. So that's the reason why we launched the Access to Justice Awareness Campaign, so that people tell us their justice story. Me, justice is different for me, but what about you? What does justice mean to you? So tell us what your justice story is. And then if our solution can fit it, then yes, we'll be able to provide you a solution. But we also believe in situations whereby our solution cannot aid you, we can connect you with the right organization that can help you. And that's the reason for partnerships, that's the reason for ecosystems. So that brings me to my second point. You cannot build in a silo. If you want to walk well, walk alone. But if you want to go really far and fast, walk with people.
Yeah.
So you work with people, collaboration over competition. Find people who are doing exactly the same thing that you're doing. Maybe not exactly, but are solving the same problem that you're solving. Talk to them, relate with them, share ideas, see how you can collaborate together. And that's the reason, and it's been great that we've been able to collaborate with other legal tech organizations. Some of us are here right now towards the Access to Justice campaign, because there are instances whereby someone might need help. So let's say like a criminal issue, they might need help and or also being harassed by police, they might need help. But Britain doesn't provide you lawyers in instance of police harassment. But headquarters can provide you support. So headquarters will be able to provide you support. And Madam Louis is here, yeah. So yeah, and all of that. So that's the second point, collaboration. Then the third point is user friendly. It's one thing to build a solution, it's one thing to get your partners, but is it user friendly? The third party that is going to use it, how do they connect with you? Is the technology easy for them to use or to go around? That's one. Or in the instance whereby they do not have a technology-enabled phone, or whereby they are unable to get instant help, how do they get help? So that's the reason why, Mr. Ayobami rightly said, you bring in the third parties, that is the third structure, that is paralegals as well as legal clinics. Young paralegals are young lawyers. They're young people who are going to join the legal system very soon. So it's always best for you to activate them, get them started, connect the legal clinics, being able to provide them support that, in the instance whereby your phone is down, you can run to this place, you can go for help. And in as much as, okay. So in as much as the advocacy part looks good, it looks great, you're solving a real problem, creating impact and all of that, but then does it make you money? So that brings us to the fourth part. Are you actually making, is this value that you're creating, is it actually a good business venture? Do you make money out of it? So that's why you need your team. You need appropriate business strategies to put in place to ensure that, yes, we're affordable, yes, we're accessible, but yet, as a company, as an organization, we're still making money. So to answer the question which you asked, in building Legim, I failed a lot, but with each time I failed, I learned. Thank you.
It's called failing forward. It's called failing forward. Thank you. So let's hear from you, please.
I think one of the first things we learned for legal tech startups is don't copy and paste. Sorry.
Try this.
All right. So one of the first things we learned was for legal tech startups is don't copy and paste. Most startup ideas can be transplanted across multiple markets. But for legal tech, with every market you want to operate in, you have to build the capacity from the ground up. Right? Because the culture is different, the bureaucratic intricacies are different, the purchasing powers are different, right? And sometimes for the exact same solution, it's different so for instance, to register a foreign company in Nigeria, same solution, register a foreign company in Kenya, different requirements. Register a foreign company in Ghana, different requirements. So the fact that your solution has worked in Nigeria does not mean it will work in Kenya. You have to build a different capacity for it to work in Kenya, for it to work in Ghana, right? So it was important for us to make sure we had to build capacity everywhere we had to operate, and not just everywhere, with every product even within Nigeria, the timelines, the price to get money lender's license in Lagos is different from in Abuja. So you're still in Nigeria and it's still different, right? So that was one of the first things we learned. And to go on what she said, one of the issues I've always had with the lawyer marketplace, right, which is connecting lawyers to users is, first issue is most people have in their family or in their social group or in their friend group the law. Who is the first person they go to when they have legal problems? Right, that's the first. So it cannot just be a simple marketplace solution, right? The second issue is it's not. It doesn't lend itself to repeat business. If I have a problem and I need a lawyer today, and I have a problem I need a lawyer next month, and I have a problem I need a lawyer, I need a spiritualist, not a lawyer at that point, because I have issues, right? So it doesn't lend itself to repeat business, and even when it does, it's usually far too easy to circumvent the platform. Today, you've introduced me to a lawyer. Tomorrow, I need a lawyer. I'm going straight to a lawyer. I'm not coming to your platform, right? So it has to be more robust than just lawyer marketplace.
I agree. We
Right.
learned that's the hard way.
So yeah, and pretty much also, and this helps the entire legal tech space as a whole, is please do not build unless someone is paying. Right. Let me let you know a little secret. Entrepreneurs are not an altruistic bunch. Entrepreneurs are not like very nice people. They don't sit down and ask themselves, oh, how can I make, what solution can I, what problem can I solve to make life better for people? That's not the entire question. It's what problem can I solve that people will pay for that I can find a solution to. Right? Yeah, and then on the road you change lives. You make people's lives better. Yeah. But the first question is, can people pay for it? Right? And it's important for the legal tech space because we don't get as much benefit of doubt as like the fintech gets. Yeah. I mean, you can ask him, the multiples for legal tech valuation is much lower than the multiples for fintech valuation. Right? So it means that we have to start getting paid from day one to show proof of concept to potential investors. Right? So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Adedumade, will take you very quickly.
All right, very quickly. Samuel said something very interesting, and I just want to pose a question to the crowd. If someone is owing you ₦1 million now, who will you call, a lawyer or the police?
DSS.
Yeah, so that answers one of the questions that we are experiencing as a community, right? The police, because it's more effective in the terms that they can add force to it, they tend to take a lot of work away from the lawyers. There is a legal position on that, but let's not go into that debate now. Secondly, I remember when I was a young lawyer, right? And whenever I needed to draft a brief, my boss would tell me, go to the library, get the index, look for all the cases on that subject, bring them out, read them before you start drafting. And that was a lot of work back then. And Law Pavilion came and changed all that because I didn't need to go and search all the law reports. I could just go to my system, type it out, and I'll get what I was searching for. So in my own experience, I just want to share a bit of what came about and how we have reached where we are today and the lessons along the line. So I said earlier that I started up as a blog to teach people the law. And after about 10 years of doing that, we had all the views and all that and all the statistics. I realized that, okay, a lot of people now knew the law, but they had another level of problems, how to implement the law in their situations. And I reviewed, okay, over the years, what are the things people have asked us for? People needed to talk to a lawyer, so I put that in a product. People said they needed to draft agreements and it was expensive to talk to get one from a professional, so I put that also there. So people could get their agreements. A lot of people said, oh, we need to resolve our disputes, but we cannot go to court, the time duration and all that. Okay, I put that there as well. People said, oh, we need legal information, what we can just get briefly without having to talk to someone, or something I can just search online and find. So I put that there as well. So all the tools that we put together was just trying to help people find solutions to the different kind of problems that they have. So that's why we are where we are now as a startup. In regards to the challenges, it's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard. So I'm a bootstrapper, right? Meaning I don't have funds. I use my cash to run the business. And trust me, I'll give you guys a secret. MailChimp disconnected our service last week. Why? Because we could not meet up with the dollar payment for the month. And that has happened like twice in the last 2 or 3 years. But you see, that last time that it happened, I just said, oh, I cannot kill myself. Seriously,
Dang.
because I have to pay $200 per month for my licenses.
Times 1.5.
No, wait. I started buying that dollar from my bookie when it was costing me 60,000 naira to buy that 200. Then it became 80. It became, now, when I asked him on Friday how much is 200, he told me it is about 267,000. And I pay that every 30 days.
That's
right?
just one technology need.
Yes. So, so it's been tough trying to ensure that I meet that requirement. And the truth is, the money that's coming in is not enough to pay those bills. So I still find myself in a position where I have to struggle, I have to hustle for my other businesses, to do that, to fund that. And that is very tough and it's still very challenging. In regards to investment, people investing in my business, right, I believe the best kind of money is customer money.
Preach, please say that again.
No, seriously, the best kind of money you can have as a business is customer money, when the customer is paying you. A lot of people have come to me and said, okay, we'd like to invest in your startup, but they're offering me sums that I knew I could not accept. Someone offered to pay me. Anyway, let's just keep all that. But some people have come to me with different sums that I felt it will not profit me or the business. And also, I believe that in the startup ecosystem, not many people understand the obligation when someone invests in your company. Maybe because I'm a lawyer, I understand that obligation. Some people feel when they invest in you, the maga don't pay. No, that's not how it works. It is a loan. Right? It is an investment and you have to give them a return on that loan. You have to give them a return on that investment, and that's very important for businesses to note. That's why I have not gone out, because I told myself I'm still trying to find the money to pay all these things that I pay for. I'm not going to collect big cash from someone. How do I even find the business to pay that person back and make that person get the return on his investment? So that's been some of the challenges I've been going through so far. And another challenge is I'm a solo founder. Yeah, it's tough, trust me.
I know.
Trust me, it's tough. I'm a solo founder, and it's not all the time I find people that can work with me, because of course when you want a co-founder, you need someone who can complement you. Yeah. Right, and who can bring to the table things you cannot bring to the table. Full disclosure, I was driving with someone someday, and the person is also a founder. And I just told the person, why don't you just marry me? And she quipped. She was like, and I had to explain. I was like, look, what I mean is this. I have a platform. You have a platform. I feel in the long run we complement each other. Why don't we just merge and become a family, and boost our startups together? So that's what I meant. And the person that looked at me, I said, oh, okay, I'll think about it. And the person said no.
Okay.
At the end of the day, or maybe she said she'll think about it. Anyway, we're still there. I still intend to toast her some more.
I know, right? Maybe some marriages can happen here.
Yeah, maybe. So that's been the experience so far. Yeah. Having a startup, the only interesting part when you introduce yourself as a founder, trust me, that's the only interesting part. Oh, he's a founder, she's a founder, and you too, you'll be like, yeah, that's me. Trust me, that's the only interesting part. The dream is sold free, but the hustle is sold differently. Thank you so much.
I'm literally out of time, so I'm going to take the last question. I mean, we're talking about investable startups here. I want to hear from the two people on the other side of the table. What does it take? Why? Okay, so let me ask it like this, right? What are investors looking for when they decide to fund a startup solving a justice problem? What are investors looking for when they decide to fund a startup solving a justice problem? And why is the legal justice system not attractive to investors? Please, I want you to take this very quickly. We need to know why.
All right, I'll just go first. Give a broad stuff because he has more pointed.
Okay.
So first, before you invest in a business, and as with many people have said, you want something that is a repeat business. And I opened my conversation with telling you about how like there is a platform like a Bloomberg that is able to give like repeat business over and over again. Now we live in the world of AI, machine learning. If someone comes to me and says, "Oh, we've digitized all the law journals in Africa," if you put in a random case on gender-based violence and something, I can see to a degree of accuracy like what cases have gone before and all of those kind of stuff. Law firms are going to subscribe to it. Individual lawyers are probably going to subscribe to it. And that's something that is also of interest to donor agencies and everybody that's actually interested in Nigeria's judicial landscape. So that's one. The business has to be repeatable. Folks have said the one-offs would not really work, and that's what we also look out for. In terms of what we also look out for is like, I do think, and this point I'm trying to buttress is that lawyers, when you say fintech is doing great, all other folks are doing great, is that lawyers are they are more inclined to be more insular. You see, he's a solo founder, like lawyers have to wear two hats, not the traditional art and the technological, just the SME law art. You guys have to be product managers. There are folks that can develop, but they cannot develop products that actually that can mirror the workflow, the actual things that actually happen in the legal process. So it is what you're coming to the table with is that legal experience. You know what it looks like. You know what the workflow looks like. You are able to design that product. There are many people with AI and machine learning experience now, and anything you slap AI and ML on, maybe you probably receive an investment. But who is thinking from that angle that, oh, there are law journals, if you are able to just load up all these cases, you can do stuff. It's only a lawyer that understands those nuances. Even what I'm saying may just be surface level, but once you drill down, I was trying to do something in procurement law, and I saw that there was a lot of problem in that space. I had to go and speak to a lawyer who gave me like a talk down on what procurement law looks like and stuff like that. But interestingly, he's never thought of himself as a product manager. So I feel like the next level, these kind of conversations are great. Lawyers need to wear another out of being product managers and just talk a lot, partner with people from a technological perspective to make things happen. So innovative business model, like I've said too, is also very important. The traditional folks have worked that with income sharing. Maybe you do that with no win, no fee. You do that with income sharing agreement. Or you can even, the paralegals or the intermediaries we talked about, you can be the Andela of that. We need like another injection of like 100,000 people spread across the 36 states of the country, 774 local governments. Those are the ways that we're going to create access to justice for the average Nigerian. Those are the ways that we're going to create access to justice for problems that are not just SME or businesses, but are more civil disputes, gender-based violence, and all those kind of things that will make Nigeria a more prosperous place. And also, doing good can be good business. You just need to think about these things. I'm happy to elaborate,
Thank
but he
you
has
so
like
much.
more in-depth
Thank you
thought
so
around
much.
this.
Mr. Samuel, let's hear from you very quickly, please.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I would like to. Maybe I should start off by saying that in addition to the work that I do with Hill as a scale-up advisor, we also have an innovating justice fund, which basically seeks to invest in justice tech startups across emerging markets. So we're talking Nigeria, Kenya, Tunisia, and a few other countries in the Middle East. I like to draw a distinction between legal tech and justice. There's a bit of a difference. So what I would classify legal tech would be generally maybe those tools that make lawyers work easier or help. So for instance, if you develop an indexing platform for that helps index with cases or help lawyers with research in advanced markets where law firms are actually a big deal, and you have billion-dollar law firms, it means those people are also going to pay you at that level as well, and then you have the potential to be really big. Obviously, in Nigeria, I don't think there's the biggest of the law firms we have are mostly family businesses. I don't think anyone has really transitioned into like a proper multi-generational independent business. You notice that. So unlike in the US where you have the likes of DLA Piper and the rest that have been there for hundreds of years, and it's the law firms here are still, very early, still being run by members of the family of the original founder. So, and their budget isn't as big as that. So even if you did something that, and there are only a handful of them, maybe 10 of them, that are at a certain level that can pay a certain amount, that will lead you to the type of valuations that we see in the fintech space. But that's one. So that's one part. That's the legal tech. So you have that market of people who are willing to pay for it. Then there's the justice side of it. Oftentimes, people who need justice can't pay for it. That's the challenge. So, for instance, if you were running like a platform to help victims of crime or something, or people of gender-based violence, what you realize is that, and this is what we see consistently, what you realize is that a lot of the customers, the beneficiaries, are oftentimes the customers. So you need to figure out who else is going to be willing to pay for this service that you are providing to these people. So it's one of those places where there's a difference between the beneficiary and the person that is actually paying for it. So the person who can pay for it is different. So you have to walk through figuring out who would pay for that. So that's one challenge. That's one challenge on the justice tech side. The other challenge as well is that the legal system is very traditional and likes to keep to its old ways. We've seen even because we have in the Justice Accelerator portfolio, we've worked with over 170 something startups, justice tech, across these markets that I've mentioned. So either providing them grants, and some of them have come up from incubation to and then they've gotten to acceleration, and then going into the scaling stage. What we've seen is even in other countries like Kenya, we've seen a situation where someone developed a platform that is trying to connect people directly to services, and that platform was beginning to take off, and we saw actions from the bar association there, followed up with the founder, threatening with arrest and all of that, and that business had to go down. So it's also that there's multiple factors, and and these are questions that we're having to answer every day, because in addition to while we're investing, we're also raising more funds to invest. And these are questions. So most people are asking us these questions. Okay, this is your portfolio company. Who is going to pay for this? Are people going to be able to pay for it? Sometimes the portfolio the companies figure out, they say, okay, maybe the government would be a good candidate, or maybe because justice, which is a bit different from legal tech, it means connecting people to certain services that they may not have had. So maybe someone can then decide to say, I want to connect people to like we have a business in Tunisia that helps people basically get government benefits. So people who are underserved, help them register and get government benefits. And so the challenge with those kind of partnerships with government is that government is government as well. First of all, it takes you so long to onboard them, and then obviously you are dealing with government does not lend itself to innovation. People, they prefer stability over innovation. And then at the end of the day, you will then see a situation where you've just because of the way that government is, for certain things to be implemented. So we had someone in Ghana that created a platform that would allow for land titling, digitizing land titling. But unfortunately, that requires a change in the constitution. So, and everybody knows knows what is for them to get paid actually. So the the organization that manages the land has started using that platform. But for the government to be able to pay them, there needs to be some type of amendment in the constitution, and everybody knows that constitutional amendments takes forever. So these people have done the work, they've built the platform, they have gotten the customer, they are seeing transactions, but they can't get paid, because of the sector that we are in. So it's a combination of different issues, the nature of the sector, the nature of the people that you're serving, and also the nature of the market that you're in. That's part of why people would sort of struggle to attract investment here. And that's why what the work that we do is, while we're also trying to invest and catalyze investment, we act as a first loss investor. We're convincing people to say, you know what, we would if this thing goes wrong, our money will go down first. But come in and let's scale this up.
Yeah.
And then we also, because we are looking at so many markets, we are beginning to see certain trends. There are certain things that are justice areas, but are easier easier to scale, and we're able to share that with our portfolio companies. So, okay, this has worked in this market. Maybe you might need to try it a certain way. So, and that's why the work we do at Heal as well, we provide grants at that early stage, because oftentimes it's unlikely that people in the legal tech sector or justice sector will meet a lot of the requirements, general investment requirement that is mentioned. Generally, the best businesses are businesses that serve businesses, and that's why I think your business, part of why you would see the numbers that you're doing is because you're serving businesses because those people are better payers. Then it's business critical for them, and it's easier to, the cost of acquiring them is much lower than trying to acquire maybe someone who has been a victim of gender-based violence. So I think these are the nuances. It's a very nuanced situation. So what we need is maybe more organizations like us that come in and provide like a more patient capital at this stage, and then allows people to experiment and find path to revenue models that are sustainable and workable.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. Unfortunately, our time is up. We've come to the end of this conversation. Just to round off what he said, I don't think anything they have said here should be a deterrence to us finding solutions to the problems that we face. Because, trust me, one day you would hack it. Yes, you will hack it. She's done it 7 times. It might just be this time that she's hacked it, right? He has his own story too. You continue to fail until you fail forward. We launched our platform last year. It fell flat on its nose. So I know. He fell and broke his nose, literally, right? But I had to go back, and then we learned from it. And then I currently believe we've hacked it, right? With the direction in which you are going now. So failing is part of the journey, but make sure you are failing forward. That's it. And on that note, I would like to bring this conversation to an end.
All right. Thank you very much.